those who are appearing in the mains, this is a time to refine your skills. This is a time for quick revisions. This is a time for calm rage. That is, we need to be calm also, but there has to be a limit of speed also, because time is very less. We are trying to have an approach whereby we'll explain each theme in a simplified manner. You can think of it as a FAQ approach. As teachers and as Vision IAS team, we'll try to ensure that we meet the benchmark of the students' expectations. If you give us your time, then we'll try to ensure that maximum use of that time is there. That's a promise from our side. Baki, obviously, students are definitely, motivated right now with positive results in the prelims. So, yeah, but I think the most important motivation from our side is that we'll try to ensure that each and every second which you give to us counts.
Hello dear aspirants, I am Vishal Salsekar and I welcome you all for this special conversational series organized by Vision IAS. As the Prelims 2024 has completed, and I am presuming that for you also the countdown for mains has already begun. And in this particular duration between prelims and mains, there are a lot of self-doubts and queries regarding what to complete, what to leave for this mains examination. So to discuss all these aspects and to clear all our confusions regarding this, I am joined by Mr. Himanshu Khatri Sir, who is the faculty of Vision IAS. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So, sir, as I have said, the countdown for mains has already begun, and there are two kind of aspirants right now with us. One who are getting the decent score in the general studies as well as CSET to clear this examination, and other set of candidates who might not be clearing this particular examination this time. So, what should be the approach for these candidates in general for both of them?
Well, the very fortunate thing is that irrespective of what the result is, even for an aspirant who is appearing in the next prelims, let's say, and an aspirant who is appearing in this mains, this time is very, very crucial with respect to preparation of mains. Why? Because, for example, if we take the scenario of those students who will be appearing in the prelims next year, when will they revise or practice from a mains perspective, the mains only subjects? Right. Very soon December is going to be there, and no student is going to put much efforts between January and the next prelims with respect to mains only subjects. And if you notice that mains only subjects, they have a bigger share of marks in mains as compared to those subjects which are common to prelims and mains. So therefore, I think the biggest mistake which the students they do is that by December or by January, they do not complete the mains only syllabus from the mains perspective, and therefore they get stuck in a cycle of attempts after attempts after attempts. They are only basically preparing for those subjects which are common to prelims and mains, and they are never actually allocating time to those subjects which are mains only subjects, right? So that's why, in fact, for those who are not going to make it this time, this is a God-sent opportunity. It's a different way to look at things. I know the situation is grim emotionally and psychologically for those who have not been able to, score good in the answer keys. But trust me, it is a God-sent opportunity. By December, focus on the mains, right? And if you're able to do some test series of mains only subjects, I think it will be amazing. And of course, those who are appearing in the mains, this is a time to refine your skills. This is a time for quick revisions. This is a time for calm rage. That is, we need to be calm also, but there has to be a limit of speed also, because time is very less. So for both of them, I would say that the strategy right now is like more or less the same, slight differences, but yes, more or less the same.
So thank you, sir, for guiding the aspirants, even for those who might not be clearing for this examination right now. So, sir, now coming to the duration, as you have also suggested, the duration between prelims and mains is very, very less. Yes. So roughly, if we calculate, 90 days are remaining. And many of the aspirants are confused like how to utilize this particular time in general, allocating for content covering, practice and all these things. So what do you think, like what are the kind of challenges that aspirants right now are facing between prelims and mains?
The challenge can be divided into 2-3 categories. One would be the kind of subjects which are very well prepared, whose notes are also well made, right? There the student would feel comfortable. There the student would be ready to attempt the mains test series also with level of confidence. Second kind of subjects would be those where only readings have been done, only classes have been done, otherwise short notes have not been made. And third would be the kind of subjects whereby, a student feels that I have not prepared anything. So basically, it is a combination of strategy which should be adopted with respect to these three categories. And obviously, number one priority is how to merge the component of revision with answer writing. And I feel that at this point of time, if we go for something like, it's not a compulsion or anything, but I think we have done pretty hard work in designing the mains advanced course regarding which we are discussing today. I think it caters to all three in different approaches.
So sir, as you have pointed out regarding this mains advanced course, so I think one of the approach that student can take for this particular journey between prelims and mains is this particular course. So can you briefly elaborate regarding this course, like what this mains advanced course is all about, how we are going to strategize all these things in this particular course?
So in the mains advanced course, in total they are going to be around 60 classes, 55 to 60 classes. We are going to wrap up by 1 month in advance of the actual exam, UPSC exam. So therefore the student has time to reflect, student has time to revise, and he is not stuck in the classes till the very last moment. In this duration of 55 to 60 classes, we have proportionately allocated time to different subjects in line with the proportion of marks which they have tapped into in the last 10 years. So we have done a thorough 10-year analysis, and therefore accordingly we have tried to allocate the time also.
Okay.
Within my domain of modern Indian history, world history and post-independence India, we will be covering modern history in 5 classes, and 1 class for world history, 1 class for post-independence India. Focus would be a very targeted approach. That means it is not an advanced course or a crash course relating to previous year questions.
Okay.
For that too, you can easily watch the YouTube videos which are there on the Vision IS portal. It is something much more than that. So we have identified the themes, right, by analyzing the previous year questions of the past 10 years. And then we will be explaining those themes in a targeted manner from what you call as a analytical perspective. Expectation would be that a student is able to identify the basic building block of each theme, right, and then able to answer a complex question, right, which comes with some different permutation or combination of those building blocks, right. So therefore we are trying to have an approach whereby we'll explain each theme in a simplified manner. You can think of it as a FAQ approach, right, that is adopting a Q&A format whereby we try to address very solid foundational principles one by one, and after that enable the student to answer a mains question, because the mains question is always a combination of 2 or 3 of these building blocks, right. So therefore in that sense we are trying to cater to all the 3 subcategories of students. That is a student who may feel that my modern history is very good, a student who may feel that my modern history is above average, and a student who feels that my modern history I have only read, but as such I'm not yet there, right. So therefore for all these 3 kind of students, we are going to have this kind of an approach.
So sir, as you have pointed regarding the thematic approach, so I'm presuming that whatever themes are available in the modern Indian history, that themes will be covered holistically from the mains perspective, and as you have highlighted regarding the FAQ approach also.
Yes.
So can you provide sir one example from these particular themes, and how these particular themes are going to be covered in general in the classes?
Yeah, so the themes for the modern history, they can be visualized like this. So our syllabus begins from what you call as 18th century, right? So that is the period of decline of Mughals, rise of regional powers, conquest by the East India Company, right? So these 3 elements are there, that how there was decline of Mughals, B, how there was rise of different regional powers, and how Marathas or any one of them was not able to conquer the throne of India, and ultimately how the East India Company was able to accompany, right? So surprising that a company was able to conquer the throne, right? So that becomes one theme. Second is, once the East India Company completes the conquest, so ruling begins only after conquest, right? So right now ruling is going on. Just now conquest through elections got completed. Right now ruling, that is making of policies, implementation of laws, the administrative aspects and their consequences, which basically generated an anger among the Indians, right? So therefore, what was the EIC rule or administration, and what was the reaction of the different sections of the Indian society? to that, whereby different kind of reactions, especially in the form of revolts of pre-1857 and 1857 revolt, and then a reaction, modern reaction, in the form of modern Indian national movement, which is the next theme, whereby we can further subdivide into sub-themes like pre-INC era, Indian National Congress under moderate sectionalists, and then finally the Gandhian era, along with focus on new ideologies which came to the fore in 1920s, for example, communism, revolutionary thought process, and then ultimately a transfer of power, that is from World War II, 1939 onwards till 1947, how the process of transfer of power, where a lot of legal integrities are there. And throughout this theme, we should always focus on the legal aspects, that is focusing on important constitutional things like Regulating Act 1773 up till the Government of India Act 1935. These are all actually a series of constitutions, right? So therefore, a student would be able to in fact benefit in polity also from our classes here.
So I think the approach that you have suggested is quite comprehensive, and eventually from the means perspective, everything will be completed. And if we see the last 10 years question, I think no theme is left out in these particular.
Nothing will be left out, right? So we are totally very sensitive to this thing, that when a student comes to us, right, a lot of faith is reposited in us, right? And as teachers and as Vision IS team, we'll try to ensure that we meet the benchmark of the students' expectations.
So sir, is there any kind of like practice aspect also included in this? Because I think, as you have also pointed out regarding the answer writing, which will be the quite a very essential component of this particular examination for means. So is there answer writing aspect also included?
Yes, so what we are going to ensure is that because answer writing is a very important aspect, so whenever a theme is covered, so relating to that theme, a self-test question prepared by the faculty in the Vision IS team will be allocated to the student, which will be checked also by Vision IS. And once the whole module also gets covered, so after that also there will be a test element whereby the student can gauge the level of learnings, etc. Also, we'll try to ensure, depending on topic to topic, that we can give very concise and precise, innovative kind of handouts, maybe in the form of text, maybe in the form of flowcharts. That would depend on topic to topic, but basically we'll not want to dump on the student huge amount of content.
Exactly.
That is the fresh content, right? Because right now student does not, primary focus of the student should be his or her own notes. And if we as Vision IS, right, are providing them certain things, then they should be as far as possible very targeted, so that each and every page and each and every sentence and word and letter there is of use.
Exactly. And I think if these kind of handouts will be provided to the aspirants, they can even replicate the similar aspect in the examination, as highlighted by many of the toppers, that they are preparing the thematic notes.
Yeah. So regarding replication, I also wanted to highlight one thing. A student should not confuse that this is any previous year questions module. So what we are going to focus is, we are going to focus on the analogy part also. Right. So, for example, if let's say UPSC is asked question on certain sub-imperialists like Dalhousie, right? So therefore, we'll try to also analogically see that similar question then can be asked on, let's say, Richard Wellesley, right, or on Robert Clive, or on Francis Hastings, right? So therefore, basically, it's not a previous year question module, right? That point I wanted to highlight.
So I think, sir, that's very well summarization of this particular course. So now, sir, any kind of like last piece of message or the motivational kind of message for the aspirants that you want to provide?
Well, I just want to tell a very small anecdote, right, which was personally a great surprise for me, right. So therefore, in my time, there used to be two optionals, right. I had public administration and psychology, right. When I joined one of such courses, which also included element of test also. So therefore, in the beginning, I was getting very average marks. But within the span of these 90 odd days, I was totally surprised that by the time I was giving my 13th or 15th test, right, and it had an element of advanced batch also. It was related to public administration, right. In psychology also there was always a element of advanced batch. उस time पे advanced batch करके आते, advanced course करके आते नहीं थे, but हाँ वो वही था.
Right.
And by the end of 15th test, I was getting marks in the range of toppers. So I was very surprised. So for example, out of 300, उस time में 300 का होता था, 300 में से 195, 200, right? ऐसे तो मैं बहुत surprised था कि my preparation, obviously in 2.5 months, preparation तो वही है, base तो वही है.
Yes, sir.
So what is this that happens? And then I interconnected, actually it is related to psychology. Our pathways of encoding of information, they are different from the pathways of recall of information and reorganization of that information. And when we enter into domain like focusing on the advanced principles or analytical principles, the way we are going to do, so basically student gets power of horizontal interconnections, right, and how to replicate them. So personally I did definitely benefit from such a thing. So therefore from that perspective I would say that give us your time. If you give us your time, then we'll try to ensure that maximum use of that time is there. That's a promise from our side. Baki, obviously students are definitely motivated right now with positive results in the prelims. So right. Yeah, but I think the most important motivation from our side is that we'll try to ensure that each and every second which you give to us counts.
Thank you very much, sir, for this insightful discussion, and I think the last anecdote that you have provided will definitely going to motivate the aspirants a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.
So with this, we came to an end to this particular conversation session. The mains advanced course, as sir has also highlighted, that it is a one-shot solution for each and every doubt of yours that you might be getting between the prelims and mains. So make sure to utilize this particular opportunity, and we will make you sure that you are not going to regret this opportunity. So with this, we are concluding this particular session. For such more sessions, stay tuned with Vision IAS. Thank you.